It is an emergency backup power bank. This one is 2,000 of 2 lithium 100 amp hour batteries, just a little bit below that. It's also a 2400 watt inverter. This has 2400 watts of capacity. That means laptop, refrigerators, a whole bunch of devices can be running at the exact same time out of this unit. So there are your 6 AC outlets here. You got all 6 of them right there if you needed to do alternating current. But this thing has a secret weapon here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. Okay, I have charged this thing up to 100%. We can take a quick look at the front panel. This has individual buttons for on and off to turn the light that we have on, which is always a plus to see on these. It's got an emergency mode, SOS modes. So it's got a light built into it. It has a separate DC power up here for the power spots. It has 2 DC outputs. So you've got the MC4 output. You could charge another power bank with something like this. You've got another DC output here for 12 volts. You've got 2 more barrel jack outputs. You've got quick charge 3.0, quick charge 3.0, power delivery 20 watt, 20 watt, 20 watt, power delivery 100 watt on a separate button. So what I can do is I can turn just what I want on to reduce the amount of usage of the system. This is a induction cooker. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in. I'm gonna turn the AC power on. So this unit just turned on here and it's ready to go. So you see that the front panel display shows 100%. It's gonna give you a status of all of the different things that are going on here. It's gonna give you how long it can remain. So it's saying at this rate, which is just keeping the inverter on idle, it can run for 51 hours continuous. And then I'm gonna take this pot and I'm gonna put it on here and we're gonna start to heat water with this unit. So I can turn it on. It has different wattage settings. So I can say I want it at 600 watts, high, start. Now it's gonna start pulling down this unit here. So this unit at 600 watts almost exactly can draw for 4 hours. Now it's just come down to the 3 hours range, which is almost exactly mathematically 2400 watts, right? So 600 watts divided by the 2400 total. And I can increase that cooking temperature to 900 watts. So it's pulling that down right now. This unit is so large that it can actually run appliances. That's something you almost never see nowadays, is a power bank or a solar generator or something that can run this much equipment. But one of the things that this thing does incredibly well is run a medium-sized load for a very... So think about an emergency, maybe a grid down situation, and you need to keep a refrigerator going. It's going to use 1,000 watts, but it's going to do that over a 24-hour period. So it doesn't use much constant, but it needs a large backup bank. So maybe if you had a generator, you'd have to run that generator 24 hours a day to keep that fridge cold. If you had something like this one charges up in 2 hours flat, or even less than that, because you don't generally normally draw them to zero. So you could run your generator 2 hours a day and have plenty of excess power. So this is a fantastic unit for a situation like that. Let's take a look at this side of the unit. This is where the power comes in. So it's got an MC4 connector for your solar. It's going to have your standard plug here, and your standard PC computer plug for the AC input as well. So it's going to have very standard connections. It does have a cover that comes with it that goes over the whole unit, and it does have this little carrying spot in the top, which I thought was so cool. So you can put your adapters, your cables, and other things. But another interesting thing that I was talking about was it does create AC power, but one of the beauties of it is that it has the flexibility of going direct DC. So DC current, if I take my MacBook Pro and I plug it into these power delivery spots, there's less conversion loss. So you're not going from battery bank DC in here through an inverter to AC to an adapter to DC back in the laptop. It can go direct DC to DC and you don't lose as much. Your laptop stays charged longer and this lasts longer as well. So that's another real advantage of having these. So you can see along the bottom here, we talked about it, 2 quick charge 3.0, power delivery 20 watts. It's got 3 of those for your power delivery capable devices, and a PD100. Now this only has one PD100. One other last thing about these power banks, they are not light. So this has some sort of lithium batteries in it. They've gotten so much safer. So the lithium ion battery technology, the stuff that's in your cell phone, the energy density of these is just fantastic and amazing. but the safety has gotten better and better and better on these. And so this has got a lot of protections in here. You can set the charge rates, you can set all of the different settings in here. So that's an advantage of the newer units, and this is just so much simpler. I could buy this for my parents where they're at, and if they ever had a power outage or an issue, they could go in and it's just a push of a button to turn it on, which is great. So that's another advantage.